Hello, everyone. How are you doing?
Hi.
Here we are again. And girls, I would like to talk about nonviolent communication. I don't know if you know exactly what is nonviolent communication. It's a technique that we can use to communicate, being aware of a respectful conversation, no hurting other one's feelings, but also making our own point. Because sometimes in order to not affect or not hurt their feelings, we are not speak our truth, and we cannot find words to put what we really need to put without hurting each other. So maybe sometimes we avoid this kind of conversation, but there's a technique developed by Rosen Marshall, and he was talking about 4 steps in this nonviolent communication. The first step is to observe and describe things as they are. So let's say that two of the siblings are fighting, and you can describe without taking part for any of them. You just said, I see 2 kids wanting to play with the same track. So we are not saying you take it first because, oh, let them play because he's the little one. You're just describing what's going on. The second step, so the first step is observing. The second step is describe your feelings. So I see two boys playing wanted to play with the same ball and having an argument. And I feel sad when I see that because, I would like you to play happily and share toys and take in turns. And you're describing your feelings, and nobody can argue about that. And I'm talking about this technique with young kids, with teens and adults and part of our colleagues and friends. And, it's for every relationship. So it's a parenting skill, but it's something that you can apply outside your family. When you say what is going on with you and you describe your feelings, nobody can argue because this is what I feel. You cannot say, no, you cannot feel sadness because, this is what I'm feeling. Maybe you didn't want to offend me, but I was feeling sad. So you make your point and you take 100% responsibility about what's going on with you. I'm not saying, I feeling nervous because you don't. No, you can say whatever, and I can choose what I'm doing with what you said, what I'm going to feel. If I'm going to feel sad or I'm not going to feel anything, and you can say whatever, and I manage my emotions. And the third step is to talking about your needs. So, for example, let's go back to the 2 kids playing with the same track. You have the need of respect at your house. So you are not going to allow to young kids to fight or to hurt each other or calling names or whatever, because you have the need to keep respectful interactions in your house. And again, it's something you're talking about, something yours. It's your need. We all human beings have basic needs, and we can give a list of feelings and emotions and a list of basic needs. We all have the needs to feel safe, to be surrounded by people that cheer us, to feel loved and felt and heard. So this is the third step. You can talk about your needs. And the last step that is very important and so many times we forgot about is to make a request. So, okay, you describe what's going on, you talk about your feelings, you talk about your needs, and finally you make a request, because sometimes they don't know what to do. What do you really need? So next time I'm going to ask you, or you can share the toys or take in turns, or maybe I need to remove the toys because I have the need of peaceful interactions. So, maybe this is what, or I'm asking you to try to solve between of you this problem, because if not, I cannot stand, see you hurting each other. And with an adult, you also need to make a clear requirement. In order to be respectful what they're feeling and my needs, I ask you, please never talk to me in this loud tone of voice. This is a need that I have, and I'm not going to allow you, or maybe I'm so nervous at the moment, I'm going to give you, ask you to, let's go back to this conversation 5 minutes later, or I need to go outside or think about it, and then we can go back. But I'm not going to keep this conversation at the moment because I feel so nervous. I have the need of being in peace and organize my ideas. And I ask you, we're going to go back in 5 minutes. But you're not hurting the other. You're not saying, because of you, make me bad, or you go to the kids and take the toy away, because they need to solve that problem. They need to recognize that it's, unrespectful, and this is not the way we solve things. So with these 4 steps, observation, feelings, needs, and a request, the author of this technique solve international big conflicts. So we are not talking about just babies. He was stepping in countries that were in war, or big company conflicts, big problems that cost a lot of money and a lot of suffering for some people. And it's a very powerful technique. I know in the beginning it looks very strange, but you can put it in your cell phone, or you can put the 4 steps in your fridge, and you can start to practice. And I guarantee it's a powerful technique.
Yeah.
So, what do you think?
Like everything you do, or everything we do, it takes time to make it a skill and to develop it. Mm-hmm. It will, for me, I can say it was very hard at the beginning, because I was like, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Okay, now my request, my feeling, my need. What's the difference between?
Oh, wait, that was a word.
Yeah, the feeling. Is this a feeling or is this a need? What am I sure this is a feeling? Am I? So it was very, very hard at the beginning, but like everything, as you practice and as you do it more often, and it gets more fluid. And have the 4 steps are very important, but the core of this is not hurting each other, is having conversations with purpose and with love and with affection and caring about each other. So if you have that in mind, also have the steps in mind and have them in the fridge and be very clear with them. But it comes more naturally when you apply it often. Sometimes it's what was more difficult for me was describing my feelings without adding guilt to the other part. Like,
I have something to say to that, Michelle. I'm sorry, I have to step in. I was in a mother's group, and they were supposed to be mothers over 40. And I explained these 4 steps. And next thing I know, I check and I'm like, oh my God, I got like 60 responses. And when I looked at the responses, they were very harsh. They were very, why would you tell your child what you feel? Why are you guilting them into doing what you want by telling them what you feel? There's a lot of parents out there that have the old ways, the old policy. If I don't want them to have it, then they're not going to have it. Why do I have to plea bargain with them? And when you two talk about the 4 steps, it's very important to let the person know you're not guilting anybody, but you're giving them a choice, and you're giving them the power to think on their own. And I wish I was able to take you both in with me to that mother's corner of over 40, to where a mother had to step in. Why are y'all bashing her? She only made a request. I mean, I was in tears after a while. I was like, okay. Well, they need to know, and I'll just
shocked.
thank them. So
I'm shocked because usually this topic, nonviolent communication, is like enlightening for most people, most parents, most caregivers, most educators. Like, it is a very hot topic that people want to learn more and want to apply more in their lives, as Carolina said, not only in the parenting style, but in all kinds of relationships. It is hard.
Like you said, it's kind of hard because then you mix up, well, is that a feeling? Is that a need? Do I have to express my feelings? There is a way where, you know, a parent, I just posted on my page, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And you should understand how many words a parent can say to a child that hurts them. How many words a father can yell at his son for not doing football and doing basketball and hurt them. Words hurt. I don't care what anybody says. Words hurt. And for us to take on the 4 steps is a choice to where you are, like Carolina and Michelle said, you're not hurting. And you're taking responsibility for your feelings. Because you didn't make me feel, but this is the way I feel. Okay, so I'm letting you know.
Maybe this could be a topic for another time, but this nonverbal communication, it has to go with all of our kinds of communication, not only the verbal one. Also our body language, what we say with our eyes, with our hands, with our fists, maybe with our shoulders. The children absorb everything we say with our words and with our body. If we reject them with our eyes, they will feel it.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes it hurts so much, a silence, you know, not saying anything where the child had the need for some, you know, protection or some validation. And I was thinking about what you said, and maybe some people misunderstood. Talking about your feelings with my micro manipulation, like, oh, you make mommy so sad when you do that. Don't do that. Mommy's going to cry. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about give them vocabulary to understand the emotions, you know, because it's not just feeling good or bad. There's a lot of vocabulary that we are not used a lot. Nobody teaches us so much to differentiate really what we are feeling. And when we talk openly about our feelings without the aim to manipulate, we give them the model that they are going to have these feelings. Everyone is going to feel angry. Everyone is going to feel betrayed at some point in life. Everyone is going to need to deal with sadness or frustration or excitement or anxiety or, you know, there are a lot of things, and we need to be modeling. We as parents are not perfect. We are human beings, experience feelings. They are going to experience feelings. It's a human, normal reaction. But we are talking about express these feelings in a healthy way, giving vocabulary and modeling. I'm feeling so sad, but doesn't give me the right to not make dinner because I'm feeling sad. I'm going to sleep. I don't care about you. Or I'm feeling mad today, so I'm going to destroy everything around me, or I'm going to hit you just because I'm mad. Maybe I'm mad for something that happened at work, but I need to be responsible about what I do with my feelings. So I think it's so healthy. I think that maybe the people who was making these comments really didn't understood or didn't have the support to put this technique on practice. They really didn't know how to do it.
Because it's hard, you know, when you're raised in the generation of to be seen and not heard, your child needs to hush their mouth because you don't talk when I'm talking to you. You know, they are raised in that way. So when you express that, a different strategy, what? I got to learn something new. I'm over 40. I had 2 babies. I mean, they're both top. I got to learn something new. That's so hard for people. It's not easy to teach
I know.
and learn.
I like to give examples about things that happen in my life. You know, I don't want to ventilate everything because we all have challenge. But you know, when you always say things, people said, if some people think that if as a parent show your child that you are afraid, it's like a weakness. Like mommy is sad. No, mommies can never be sad. We are wonderful women. Like we are always having the perfect answer. We feel strong and sure. I'm afraid. When my child started to go out of the house, you know, when he was an older teen or a young, I was so afraid. And I was saying, be careful, don't get you in trouble, stay out of, you know, anything that is putting yourself in danger. It's not was because I was not trusting him. I said, I trust you, but I'm so afraid that something happened with you because you are the, you know, the thing that I love most, like your siblings in the world. And I'm afraid because I know that outside, it's not that I always want to think about bad stuff, but I know that these kind of things can happen and I'm not going to be right with you. And I'm afraid of that. It's my feeling. I don't want to project that on you. You need to go out and be happy and have a good time. But I need to let you know, I'm afraid, but it's not that I'm going to make, because I'm afraid I'm going to have you always at home with me. You deserve to go out. I'm going to trust you, but it's not easy for me. I need to be honest. And I teach them that there are going to be situations in life in where you're not sure, but you know, you need to be responsible. Okay, I'm going to hold my fear and trust that everything is going to be okay. And we are going to grow together because he was my first child. He was the first time I let a child go out of the house without mommy. It was hard. And I could talk, you know, openly about that. There are risks and he's going to feel afraid, but he need to build confidence. So he thanks me that I was trust him, and I let him know that it was not easy for me. It was the first time. Everything, you know, the first time is a little bit tricky. We can talk about openly about that. And if there's something challenging for him, I can remember. Do you know when I was so afraid to let you go out and for you was so natural? Well, this step that now you need to face in life, like taking a new job or whatever, or choosing your career, is difficult, but let's go. Oh, it's okay to be fearful a little bit, but yeah.
I'm thinking again about the 4 steps, and I'm thinking of the group of mothers that were very triggered about this information tools. I already said that for me, it was very hard to differentiate between feelings and needs. But also, as you talk, Carolina, I remember also was very difficult for me to make requests and not demands, because it's very different. So when you understand the steps, and they get easier to follow. So maybe we can break them in more easy words for these kind of parents or caregivers. And for me, it was what was like, oh yeah, an aha moment. It was like, A request comes with the words, would you be willing before do this? Would you be willing to call me when you go out? 3 times every half an hour. I don't know, whatever you need.
Every minute.
Every minute. Will you be willing to share your toy with your brother? Will you be willing to? So maybe that is a tip that could be easier for people who wants to start using nonviolent communication. And then you don't have to follow the script.
Right. Okay. That's really, I like that. Will you be willing? A lot of parents are saying, now I'm giving them a choice. Would they say no? And then you'd be like, okay, then we must take the toy. we must.
And trust the child that he's willing to make an effort. He's willing to try. He's willing to try to share the toy. He's willing to try to eat when he has to eat. He's willing to try. If he doesn't succeed, it's not because he wants to fail. It's just because he tried. And
it's a more kind way, to invite. When you said, would you be willing to help me with that? Or would you be, it's like you ask for more cooperation instead of saying, now I'm going to ask you next time, or you share your toy, or it's like, involve the other one. Could you be willing? The other one says, no, really. And say, why? Maybe it's some more friendly conversation.
Yeah, because, and even if we think about very young children, toddlers, maybe, if we said to them, you cannot bite. Oh no, I just did. What do you mean I cannot bite? I can bite. You cannot bite your.
I want to do it again.
No, yeah, I can. And do you want to bite your sister? Yes. So, yes, I do. I did want to. And they're being honest. So if we want the cooperation, will you be willing next time try to not bite your sister, or will you be willing to try to come to me first?
Before you bite your sister.
Before you bite your sister, because if you said, you cannot bite your sister, okay, watch me. Watch as I do it.
I like that one. I love it. Yes. And they have the power. Now it's like, I have the power to do what I want to do.
It's a power struggle. I can and I will.
Yes.
And we can be open, if someone have a comment or giving a try to nonviolent communication and it was not nice, maybe we can talk about it, specific examples, and maybe let's put it in other words or make it work for you. Because as I said, it's an international, very powerful tool. It's not something that we create out of our minds. And there's a whole course about nonviolent communication in schools, nonviolent communication in companies, nonviolent communication in parenting, in politics, in so many things. So we give you that tool and ask you to apply or to think about, maybe give it a try or give an example and give back to us and let us know how it goes. Please post it and keep us posted about that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye.